Hi everyone, this is Marie Blue Angel, and today I am back with Under the Stars. Last time we left Dulari, our lovely main character, after a day slash a night of birthday celebrations. I can't remember how old she is, but she's 20, 18, 20, I believe. And we learned some secrets in that what do you call this? We found out that Dulari's mother has had a thing with one of the other neighboring king. Yes, one of them. And what's gonna happen? I have no idea. Does her dad know? Have no idea. Maybe not yet, but maybe he will soon. As for Dulari, she doesn't even want anyone to be here for her birthday. She's feeling a lot of feelings, trying to sort that out. And she has two friends that she has interacted with, and one of them is her bodyguard, and I forget his name at the moment. And the other is the son of that neighboring king, who or Dulari rather, hasn't really talked to in a while, but they're on friendly terms. So who knows what's going to happen. I believe we're on the route of the bodyguard because I made choices and my choice led me to route to the bodyguard. But anyways, let's just get into it because I need to see what happens next, and I'm sure you do too. And if you are confused about what is happening at all, please feel free to go to part 1 of my playthrough of Under the Stars because it has been a hot minute for me since I played as well. So let's just get into it. The next day, I woke up with no dreams, only the memory from last night lingering in my head. I also don't remember the voices I used because I played this like almost a month ago, so I'm sorry for the lack of consistency. Still lying down on my bed, I wondered how long they had been hiding it. How did it start? When did they notice they were in love? I believe this is referencing her mother and the neighbor king guy. I myself had to confess that I never noticed anything. If it wasn't for last night, I would never know. And that idea made me a bit sad, thinking about how many things happen without us noticing. Precious things like sweet whispers at the end of the night. Yes, this is our lovely Dulari. Mother. She must feel very lonely now, but I couldn't console her. How could I? I've been alone my whole life. I was used to it, like a second nature. Maybe my first and definitive one, actually. And trying to help her would mean that I would have to tell her I saw what happened, and I wasn't really prepared to see her reaction. I mean, that's true. Also, there was still that thing with King Saruva, that last whisper. You're going to regret that. Oh yeah, he said that. So what's gonna happen? What did he mean by that? If he really meant something other than his own pain. I have a bad feeling about this. But well, there wasn't much use worrying about it now. It's not like I could do something about it yet. I hope breakfast is a bit calmer today, at least. I went outside, hoping to take a walk to see if it would wake me up properly. Oh, there's just the jester. But as I turned to a corner, I spotted the jester sitting on the parapet, smiling like the fool they were. Are you looking for something, princess? Not really. I'm just taking a walk. Putting your muscles to use, I see. You are a very active princess after all. If the king would give you a sword, I think you would be pretty good with it. You flatter me way too much. I don't have that much energy. Oh? Well, I probably fooled myself then. I thought it was only natural for you to be awake at such late hours, since you are so energetic. Internal gasp. Are they talking about... No, it can't be. I felt like the jester noticed my reaction because their smile had grown a little bit. Am I wrong?
Oh wow! Did I finally make the princess speechless? Lucky day, lucky day. I gulped. Did they spot me overhearing the conversation? But I did not see them.
Oh, Ezekiel. Ah, princess, I finally found you. The king asked me to escort you.
Did something happen? He said that I should stick with you to avoid any trouble. I rolled my eyes, suppressing a smile. Fine, then. Are you going to join us, Jester? I'm afraid the king has other plans.
Oh, I don't remember the voice.
I'm afraid the king has other plans for me this morning. Oh, okay. See you around then.
Bye, Jester. Hi, Ezekiel.
As we departed from the Jester, I gave a big relieved sigh.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. That was a lie. The Jester almost got me there. Even though I didn't know exactly what their intentions were, I was glad Ezekiel guided me away. Almost as if noticing my worry, Ez spoke to me. You don't need to take everything they say seriously, you know? I know. But there's more to them than meets the eye. That I could tell. I wish I knew what, exactly. The way they spoke. They must know about something. Or maybe they are just fooling around. I looked at Ez, a bit dumbfounded that he guessed my thoughts.
Look how cute. Look at the blush. Blush, blush, blush.
Especially him, who seemed so distracted all the time. Who is it to distinguish a fool from a wise man, after all?
I love this art style, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I love this art style.
Later that morning, the king gathered everyone for lunch. The nobles started drinking to pass the time, and soon everyone was either a bit or very drunk. Very much drunk. My goodness. Some of them tried to bother me while I was eating, but Ez shooed them away, thankfully. If having a bunch of strangers at my house wasn't enough, now they were all drunk and dancing and shouting. Even my father had joined them. Some of the nobles who weren't completely wasted placed some tables away from the commotion, trying to have a moment of peace. One of them, of course, was my mother. She stared at the drunken nobles, tired. Sometimes I wonder why we even have a jester, since all Carcarus needs to do is drink a little bit. She was trying to take it lightly, but it sounded more bitter than she anticipated. Father can be like that when he wants to have fun. If he at least didn't embarrass all of us while doing it. She sighed again. Don't take a fool as a spouse, Dulari. Some stupid man that will ruin your life.
Oh, Mom, please. I mean, this is great advice. I appreciate this advice personally. I don't know if Dulari, I don't know. I'm not speaking for Dulari. I'm speaking for myself. I get that. I get this sentiment. But you can if Dulari didn't know anything, then she would probably suspect something's up between her and her father at the very least right now. Like, maybe she wouldn't suspect that her mom's in love with another guy, but, you know, I'd suspect something if I was told this.
This was my mistake. I looked at her, my heart sinking at the commentary.
Ooh. Return, please.
She wasn't happy. She wasn't happy at all. I feared one day that could be me. After lunch, I decided to hang out at the gardens. Right now, it was the most quiet place in the castle. To avoid more nobles trying to harass me, Ezekiel continued to guard me. As I reached for a sitting spot, he stood still, trying to make conversation.
And this looks like a family gathering.
Does your family pester you with annoying questions about your personal life?
Yes.
Wait, what? That honestly took me by surprise.
My uncles love to pester me with things like, when are you going to get married? Did you find a girlfriend yet? Your brother already has a son, and he's younger than you.
But you're only 22.
That's what I try to say, but they think I'm joking. Like, I'm too old for that kind of joke.
What? But that's absurd. How old is your brother after all?
16.
That's too young. Is your family out of their mind?
My gosh, 16 is so young. I know it's not the ideal situation, but he's a good father, and I know that my uncles mean well when they ask me this stuff. I mean, again, if you're like, wow, 16 is really young though, but like, I don't know the circumstances under which any of this has happened, so I'm not judging his brother. It's just like, wow, personally, when I think about when I was 16 years old, I personally would not want to be at the position where I was a parent. For me, that'd be a lot. Anyways.
But
it's fine. They're just afraid that I'll end up childless, not a single legacy to the world.
That hits a bit too close to home.
Huh. Princess?
I hadn't noticed how silent I suddenly became. All these things with my birthday, my mother dissatisfied with my father, and having a lover instead. It was all stacking up in my mind and my heart. There was so much unhappiness around me that I couldn't help but feel bad. I couldn't solve everyone's problems at all. How could I even solve the kingdom's affairs when I become queen? Are you feeling well? Yes. Sorry. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say that I don't really care about ending childless. His voice sounded confident, almost soft in a way. As long as the king doesn't end like that, because that would be a problem.
You don't think of having kids?
For a moment, Ezekiel almost looked thoughtful, but he put whatever he was thinking aside, answering a bit too quickly. I can't. Your life is more important, isn't it? There was a strange hint of sadness mixed up with hope in his voice, like a dream that almost came true, until reality tore it apart again. But even so, it continued to live. Then, Ezekiel came back with his usual tone. Okay. The king and queen need you. They would be sad if something happened.
That wasn't a lie. But remembering the face my mother had made while looking at my drunk father made me think. They already are.
Uh-huh. What do you mean?
My mother isn't happy. There's nothing I can do about it.
Don't be so pessimistic, princess. I'm sure she
had a lover.
For a second, it was almost as if Ezekiel didn't hear me. But then his expression started to turn into confusion and shock. What?
I saw it last night. She was with another man. Suddenly, everything went silent. Me, Ezekiel, and the garden. As if no one was expecting me to say those words. But there I was, blurting everything out. But they broke up, and I'm afraid that he wants to hurt her. I can't help her, Ez. I can't do anything. This feeling of uselessness was consuming me. The afternoon breeze was whispering between us, trying to speak the words we were struggling to come up with.
Who is him?
King Saruba.
He? Him? Huh?
Shh.
Sorry, it's starting to make sense. Okay, Ezekiel picked up on something.
What do you mean?
He said to me that he had lost one of his belongings last night and asked for my help to find it. But I spent the whole night looking in the courtyard and couldn't find anything. He said, "Yes, Ezekiel, go jump in a lake. It's probably there." He probably said that to trick me.
You're too gullible for your own good, you know.
Cry. I'm sorry. It was impossible to stay serious with him, even when all of the situation was dragging me down. But still,
All of this was incredibly overwhelming. While I wanted to lay down and sleep for a while, my mind couldn't help but feel hyper-vigilant. I must have gone silent again because Ezekiel looked at me with worry. Princess, you should rest. With my lack of reaction, he started to fidget a bit nervously. I'll keep an eye on King Saruva, just to make sure he doesn't do something funny. And what guarantees me that he won't distract you again? Well.
Oh, cute! Look at this. Look at this close-up of Ezekiel. How adorable. Not the blushy.
He scratched the back of his neck, looking down, almost embarrassed. If it's a direct order from you, I will happily oblige. Something about the way he said those words made me weirdly shy, as I've never been before. Ezekiel often did get embarrassed by his own silliness, but this time it was another type of awkwardness. He was not ashamed of his lack of attention. It was the opposite. He was embarrassed by his own interest in the matter. There was something about how he suddenly couldn't look me in the eye anymore. It's an order. Please, watch him for me. As you wish, Princess.
Okay. Wow. Okay. You two are too cute. Drinking some tea. Okay.
He bowed awkwardly and in mid-sentence suddenly realized what he was doing. If you excuse me. And then he was gone. In the strangest way I've ever seen him. At least I could count on him. I was glad that despite everything, Ezekiel was still the type of person that would move sky and mountains to help anyone in need. I smiled. I was happy to have him by my side. After that, I went to my room. He was right. I was really tired. I rested on my bed, gazing at the wall for a short while, until a short nap interrupted my vigilance.
Okay. Well, that's good. We know that Ezekiel has our back. Okay. ... Question mark. Time passes.
I heard a faint sound in my room and opened my eyes. Oh, sorry for waking you up. Are you feeling all right? Yeah. What is it? Did something happen? Oh, not really. I was looking for my pen. I need to write a letter, but I can't find it anywhere. Did you look in your own room? Or in your room? I actually started by the throne room, and I still have some ground to search. Oh, I know. Since you suggested it, you can look in my room. That will save me a lot of time. Okay. Thank you, dear. I'll continue searching. She left, leaving me alone again. Ah, this nap gave me a little bit of energy indeed. I feel more motivated. And with that boost, I went to my mother's room. My parents' room was organized as usual. The only thing that looked a bit out of place was my father, who was napping on the bed. Well, that's what he gets for getting drunk. Anyway, let's look for this pen.
Is it on the nightstand?
Tissues, a piece of cloth, but no pen. My father shares sleeping tight. I started searching, and searching, and searching.
Snore. He's still sleeping.
But there's no pen here.
Like this?
Some rings, a jewel, but no pen. While I was searching for it, a strange thing dropped on the floor. I grabbed it for a closer inspection, and then I realized it's a puppet. The only person which this could belong to is the jester, but why would they leave a puppet right here? My father snored, startling me. Ah!
Jesters.
Huh?
Jester. Why here, Jester? I'm asleep.
The jester was here? But they are not allowed to enter the private rooms. I looked at the puppet. Even though the item emanates a jolly aura for its colors, the only thing I can feel is a growing uneasiness. Was the jester here? What were they doing here? Were they the one who... No, I just can't judge people so fast. Not without proof. I would sound delirious this way. Still, there's something wrong about this. I continue to search in the room, but with no luck. The pen is not here. I sighed and looked out the window. The sun was already setting, and soon it would be the ball of my birthday. The supermoon will finally rise. Remembering that, I unconsciously touched the star of my tiara, the gift my father gave me when I was just a little girl, 10 years ago. He said this star would guide me when I felt the world was being torn apart, that it was supposed to be on my forehead because that's where we touch when we're worried. I looked at him, still sleeping. He was right. It really was. I'm scared, Father. Anything can happen tonight. What if it's something bad? No, I couldn't keep being this afraid. I have my star after all. It will guide me through this darkness. And if anything happens, Ezekiel will certainly be there, as he always was and always will. Yes, I wasn't completely lost. There is a chance. But before I could elaborate any further, a servant appeared in the room.
Heavens, King Carcarus. Huh? We need to get you ready for the ball. Ball. The servant shook their head. I used that as my cue to leave. I hope everything turns out all right. Okay, the ball's gonna happen. By gosh. Okay, but like, is the jester there? Were they there? Not there? Or did Dad bring the puppet in with him? Who knows?
An hour later, we are all gathered in the courtyard to watch the moon rise.
Ooh, I like the courtyard with the moon up. It's nice.
Nobles surrounded my lonely figures, creating a big circle around me. Some of them excited, some of them emotional, but I could see tense faces popping up here and there. After all, anything could happen under a full moon. My mother stood in front of me, preparing herself to speak. On this day, under this very same sky, you were brought to the world by the stars. She had a sad and distant smile on her face, like she was reliving all those memories again. I remember like it was yesterday, your shrill cry echoing all around the castle. Like you knew the fate you were born upon, which star had blessed you. I gave you that name, Dulari, not by accident. It means, in the language of our ancestors, beloved child. Your star may give you this terrible loneliness, but it would never be because of hate. I will always love you, my dear child, until the end of my life. My mother approached me, giving me a hug. The nobles clapped, cheering and agreeing. I returned the hug, almost didn't notice when tears started to fall from my eyes. Beloved child. That was the meaning of my name. Somehow, that fact alone made me want to cry. My parents loved me so much. I was overwhelmed by their kindness every day. I really wish I wasn't born under that curse, so I could make their happiness complete. Now, it is time for our king to speak. The nobles clapped, excited to hear words from the king. They clapped once, twice, but the king didn't appear. Where is he?
Is he preparing something?
The courtyard suddenly got tense. No one knew where my father was, nor why he was missing such an important moment. It's his daughter's birthday. Where is he? The nobles started whispering between themselves, and my mother started to worry. Servants, search for the king and tell him to come immediately.
Yes, Queen.
Where is the jester? From a corner, hidden behind a bush, the jester popped up, smiling as usual. Did you call me my fairest queen? Oh, thank goodness. Could you please entertain the guests until we find the king? But of course. They approached the center, where I was still standing, their smile growing wider and wider, like they were trying to hold a big laugh. My, don't look so worried, my wondrous aristocrats. I can guarantee that the king is closer than we think. He is, in fact, only preparing himself to come here and take his place. Take his place? But of course, his ultimate opportunity to show how much he appreciates you, my beloved princess. How many times he wished for this very moment, for these specific conditions. Conditions? But you do make a very pretty parrot, princess. Hey! Ha ha ha!
Sorry, I can't laugh on cue right now.
Don't get me wrong. I mean it with the utmost sincerity. After that last joke, the nobles laughed and calmed down a bit, all tension dissipating. That left me with only one last worry. Jester? Oh, is this a dream? Is the princess really calling out to me? Oh. They made an exaggerated pose as if in complete disbelief. I ignored their antics and showed them the puppet. Is this yours? Where did you find it, my dear princess? Their voice was suddenly darker, which made me shiver all the way up. In my parents' room. You are more nosy than I could ever guess. They looked down as if pondering something, and then looked back at me, still smiling. They made a signal for me to come close and whispered next to my face. Want to know a secret, princess? I can use dark magic. Before I could notice, a great darkness escaped from the jester's hand, flowing into all directions, drowning everything under its power. Suddenly, I was very sleepy. I couldn't even keep my eyes open.
My gosh, this is scary.
The last thing I heard was the swing of a sword, echoing into the void. Until Ezekiel's voice brought me back to reality.
Princess! Not the sword fighting.
The eyes of the jester were shocked, the darkness surrounding him in a defensive manner.
What shadows are defending who? I can't tell if that's for Ezekiel or for the jester.
Ezekiel was swinging his sword with might and anger, the blade cutting the air. The jester almost couldn't dodge the attacks and was retreating eagerly. You damn bodyguard. I should have killed you when I had the chance.
Take that regret to your grave.
He tried to hit the jester once more, but they swallowed his sword with their darkness, taking it away from him. I'll give you another chance, and be glad that I don't have time to waste with you. Then the sword flung back at Ezekiel out of the cloud of darkness. He dodged it just in time to not hit his head, but it did scratch his face. While he was distracted with his wound, the jester suddenly disappeared out of thin air. Ease! He was panting heavily, visibly tired. His eyes were staring at nothing, almost too shocked to react. I wasn't seeing things, was I? They really were using dark magic, weren't they? Yes, they were. And then he looked suddenly at me as if I had just appeared in front of him. Princess, are you hurt somewhere? They didn't do anything to you, right? He started to hold my arms, looking into my eyes in a complete state of worry, almost desperation. It wasn't like he was worried about me, especially, but rather worried that some negligence of his had put my life at risk. A strong sense of devotion. I'm fine. You should be worrying about yourself. No, I'm good. A thin line of blood came from the scratch, but the cut didn't look deep. Realizing that, Ezekiel started to look around, rubbing the blood away. Where did they go? I don't know. Ezekiel had a serious gaze on his face, one I've never seen before. He grabbed the sword again and started to swing it anxiously. I'm going to search for them. Can you stay here? My gaze switched between him and the guests asleep. Well, of course, I could keep them company, help them wake up, but the breath of the night was cold. All that silence was making me uneasy. I don't want to stay here alone. He stared at me as if pondering something. Then he shyly reached for my hand. Stay close, then. As I grabbed his hand, I could feel it flinch. It felt especially warm, a nice contrast from the cold world. Ezekiel looked away, hiding his face from me. I almost could feel myself doing the same.
You're so cute.
Why was I suddenly aware of his touch, of his soft movements as he pulled me gently towards the corridors? I didn't know. But it was nice, regardless.
Okay, we gotta go find the jester, find her parents. What's gonna happen?
The whole castle was very silent. Our footsteps echoed through the walls as we walked hand by hand, hand in hand. Ezekiel looked around, trying to find any lead to the jester, anything. Their voice, a sound, anything. I remembered him saying how King Saruva tried to mislead him last night. Was he involved in this? But why? And what about the jester? Where did they learn dark magic? There were too many questions, but never enough answers. I gave up trying to calm my doubts, letting them float on my mind, unfilled. The moonlight washed the corridors, putting everything into a pale shade of gray. Oh, I'm sorry. What for? That moment, that jester just took my sword away, as if it was nothing. I should have taken magic more seriously. It's a dangerous thing. It's fine. You've always relied on your strength. It's only natural. I thought you were going to die. I looked at him, his eyes staring at the ground. I will not let that happen. Feeling the moonlight caressing my face, I remembered my fate. Was my life that worthy? Even when I couldn't find a single partner?
Girl, just because you don't have a partner does not mean your life is not worthy. I'm so sorry that you feel that way. That's like, it's terrible. I mean, honestly, valid feelings to have and valid thoughts in the sense that, like, you can have them. But your life is more than having a partner. You have your own life. And you are a wonderful person. Dulari, please. Ugh, this hurts my heart.
Complete the only thing I was obligated to? Continue the monarchy?
Like, yeah, I know, like, it's more complicated because you have to continue the monarchy, but, like, your life is that worthy, regardless of all that.
I looked down, mimicking him. He could have died. That sword could have pierced his neck. But here he was, still talking about protecting me. I didn't deserve that. I was a failure. Why would anyone even want me to be alive? And on top of that, he couldn't leave my side. He was obligated to be with me until the day I found a proper suitor. Would that day ever come? Wouldn't he be wasting his life? I looked at our hands intertwined. Would he ever be able to live the way he wanted to, without having to worry about me? Princess? I looked up. Ezekiel had stopped his tracks and was looking at me with worry. Are you okay? I couldn't say anything. Even if I could, I was interrupted by noises. Ezekiel immediately looked around, tightening his grip on his sword and looking for the source. After not many steps further, we found it. It was coming from the jester's room. Ezekiel did not hesitate to storm in, making his presence known. Jester! Through a crack in the door, I could see King Saruva. I immediately crouched, fearing he would spot me, but this wasn't the case. Well, if it's not the dumbass guard. How did you find the way here? Or did you get lost and find this place accidentally? So it was you all along. Where did you put the king? He's right here. He pointed to my father, who was laid on the floor unconscious. I had to hold a gasp. Now, would you calm down a bit? You don't want to hurt anyone by accident, do you? Ezekiel stared at him, but remained quiet. That's better. What are you doing? My, that's the most intelligent question you've asked in ages. Saruva smiled. When a man loves a woman, he starts to feel things he didn't before. What? I covered my face, feeling embarrassed by that sudden change of topic. He seeks her presence all the time. He makes sacrifices to be with her. He gets all dumb and stuff. Because that's what love does to a man. He wants to protect her from all the bad things in the world. He wants to keep her all to himself. And for that, well, for love, a man would do anything in his power to be with her for the rest of his life.
What does that have anything to do with the king? Wait, are you in love with the king? Me. Just checking. Totally fair question.
No, of course not, you moron.
So why did you...
Oh, you know what? Forget it. Just forget everything I said. This is going nowhere. King Saruva pointed to the ground. I'll switch bodies with the king, so I'll finally be the one with the one I love the most.
My God, I did not call this. Okay.
Queen Vendashi. The only person I truly loved in my whole life.
Wait. Switch bodies? Queen Vendashi? But she's married.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Oh, my father, who was still laying on the ground, started to wake up from Saruva's voice.
Huh?
Where am I?
Oh, Karkaris. Long time no see.
King, he's trying to switch bodies with you.
What?
King Saruva was glaring daggers at Ezekiel.
Damn snitch. I'll kill you for this. My father was still confused and sleepy. He rubbed his eyes.
So, why would you do this, Saruva?
Well, because he's in love with the queen,
says Ezekiel. My father blinked.
What?
Screw this. Saruva started to cast the enchantment, making the lines on the ground shine. My father looked down, still trying to understand what was happening. But before I could realize, I screamed, running into the room.
Father!
My king! Without thinking, Ezekiel rushed to the middle of the circle as it started to glow. After that, everything happened too fast. There was a blinding light and then a sudden darkness that took over me. And suddenly, everything started to feel distant. Very distant.
Huh? Am I dreaming?
Where are we? That was a lot. Okay, did not know about this switching bodies plan here.
Is there someone here? Hello? I approached the light with slow steps. Cautiously. Then I recognized the figure. It was a star. My star. The one who brought me to the world on this very same day, 20 years ago. It looked entertained, gazing at the ground, like a little kid watching the fish in a river. Seeing it so peacefully spend their time made my heart sink into my chest. It was this star that made me feel so miserable all these years. It was almost revolting. Tears threatened to flow out of my eyes. Why? It continued to watch the ground, as if I wasn't even there. Oh, star of solitude, why did you cast such a terrible destiny upon me? Why did you make me be alone for the rest of my life? Why did you push love away from me?
Oh.
For a moment, I thought the star wouldn't react, but then it stared at me blankly for a long time, until finally it stood up, revealing its really short stature, and said, "Who are you talking to?" I was shocked. Was it mocking me? But then they continued. I am no star of solitude. I'm the star of power. The destiny I casted upon you was to find love your own way. I never pushed anything away from you. Time and space were granted to your hands. Friendship is built by your words. Destiny is the end of your choices. You are your own fate. Does that mean all this time I got it all wrong? But the loneliness. I was destined to be alone from the start, wasn't I? Men fear powerful women. They said it's your destiny to be alone. when it's actually their fear of your independence. You don't need to worry about that, my child, for these cowards deserve none of your time. Embrace your power, and powerful people shall come to you. People who are not afraid to reach for the stars. The little star looked at me, a playful smile on their lips. You are not alone. A knot formed in my throat. Tears started to slide through my cheeks. I am not alone. Thank you. The star giggled, satisfied with the effect of their words. Anytime. Now go, and use that power you always had. I nodded, a bit nervous, and I felt I was being pulled back. The star became more and more distant until I finally opened my eyes again.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, like that. Was it just a miscommunication of the message then? Or that's what I would think it would be, like an interpretation of the message about destined to be alone and all that. Or that's how people have interpreted this particular star. Which is, I'm glad Dulari knows now. And the star told her. So that's great. So let's see how this continues. To face my fears, my insecurities, and King Saruva. I woke up in the same room. This time, however, everything was a bit more silent than before. Everyone was passed out in front of me. My father, King Saruva, Ezekiel. The room felt darker, the only source of light being the moon shining in the cold night. Father? Their bodies were still limp, and a strong uneasiness started to grow inside of me. Were they dead? Ez? Wake up! I crouched by Ezekiel's side, looking at his expressionless face. It didn't match him. Ez, please, wake up. I felt tears blurring my vision. Please, you need to wake up. Don't leave me. You said you were always going to be by my side. Who's pathetic. Is it the king or the jester? Pathetic. I hastily looked over to the direction of the voice. Was someone else here? But who? You nobles are always pathetic. The jester. They approached King Saruva, an indifferent expression on their face. All that planning was for what? For a stupid knight to come over and destroy your plans? This is even ridiculous. So ridiculous, even for you. As I continued to look at them, the jester eventually turned towards me. And you. They pointed a knife against my throat, my goodness. Its blade was as dark as the night sky. I didn't see it before, so it was probably made of darkness. You are so helpless without your trusty bodyguard. You would never survive outside these castle walls. Even if their words were harsh, there was a sad glitter in their eyes, as if they were witnessing the death of innocence once again. They tightened their grip on the knife. Were they going to kill me? I'm sorry. Their eyes were still glaring at me, but I continued. I wish I could have been a better princess for my family, for this kingdom, someone worthy of their trust, worthy of their hope. But I'm always relying on others to help me, and for that I am sorry. People shouldn't die for someone like me. For a moment, I was certain I was going to die. But just then, the jester suddenly threw their knife away, groaning. Damn you! They ran so fast that even before I could say anything, their shadow was already gone into the corridor, and with them the motivation for their actions, all the secrets they must have known, were gone. I looked back to Ezekiel's face, filled with sadness, and caressed his hair. Was that how it was going to end? But I had so many things I wanted to share, so many things I wanted to enjoy with him. I closed my eyes, praying for the stars. I want to help people. I want to be by their side. I don't want to be alone again. And when I opened my eyes, I saw a timid sparkle between my fingers. Light. I remember the soft smile of my star as they spoke to me.
You are not alone. Now go and use that power you always had. Just as the moon would scare my mother night to her slumber, and the stars would shine to protect the living, only light would cast this darkness away. Star of power, give me your light. My tiara and my hands started to shine timidly, their glow slowly enveloping Ezekiel's body. For a while, it was just me, the night, and that little hope in the form of light. Until Ezekiel finally opened his eyes. Princess. I had no idea how much I missed his voice until he spoke again, and while tears started to flow again from my eyes, I hugged him without thinking. Ace, you're alive! Huh? Of course I am. You dumbass. Princess. King Saruva was having a hard time trying to stand, but in his eyes there was a sharp, annoyed look that stood strong. You think this is the end? Ha 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 ha. No, I'm not done yet. He reached for us, darkness starting to spread through his arm. Behold the power of my... Before he could finish his line, my father had knocked him out with a chair. His face is just like, yep, I did that. Great. I love that. Father, are you okay? Honestly, I don't know what is going on, but I think I'm okay. Me and Ezekiel exchanged glances, wondering if it was a good idea to talk about the Queen's affair. No. Agreed. What are you talking about? I don't know. Best save for later. That was a long night. Soon enough, the guards started to wake up just as the nobles did. Everyone was confused, but as the king returned safe and sound, all the nerves started to calm down. A bit. The guards arrested King Saruva, and while they tried their best to find the jester, they were nowhere to be found. While King Saruva had a very clear reason for his actions, I still couldn't put my finger on why the jester had agreed to help him. Anger? Fear? Money? Maybe that would remain a secret forever. We resumed celebrations of my birthday for that night, and decided to leave the rest for the guards. After all, I was so mentally tired that I couldn't think of anything other than laying on my bed and sleeping. Wow, what a busy night. My goodness. Okay, so it's the end of the night. What's happening here? As I headed to my room, Ezekiel followed me, as usual. All that relief from before was gone, but it had left another feeling, a mellow sensation. You had to save me once again. You had to save me once again. I don't know why I said it weirdly the first time. You're welcome. We looked away, remembering everything I felt when I thought I was going to lose him. I felt embarrassed. I didn't want to admit it, but I really appreciated his company. I loved the way he made me smile so easily, even in my darkest moments. Even if he was supposed to be my bodyguard, I didn't think of him only as a subordinate. That day, when we danced, I felt different. We both felt like different people, almost as if... Princess? I forgot he was right beside me. Heavens, this is so embarrassing. Yes? Never mind. Sure. It wasn't long until we reached my room. Ezekiel prepared himself to keep guard by the door, but I furrowed my brows immediately at the sight. What are you doing? Guarding? You should be going to sleep. But it's my job. You can't take a single day off? Well, I can, but... Ezekiel, I was thinking... I need to tell you something. He gulped. What is it? I took a deep breath, sighing. You need to live your life. But I am? No, you're not. He was a bit shocked by my sudden burst, but I continued. Your family, they worry about you, don't they? But you don't see them very often because you're always training, or traveling, or doing something at the castle. Don't you miss them? Well, I do, but... And what about you? You really don't mind if you spend all your life childless because you had to worry about my well-being? Princess, you said you can't marry and have children because my life is more important. But it's not. Your life is just as important as mine. And I wouldn't forgive myself if you threw all your life away just to protect me. I'm serious. You have to live your life, Ezekiel. Because the words got stuck in my throat. I couldn't say it directly, but at least you're important to someone, to your family. They need you. Princess, He sighed as if defeated by something. The truth is, people have tried to propose to me before, multiple times. You are popular. I love that for you. Okay, but you don't have your eyes set on them, which is fine. And the reason I didn't accept wasn't just the fact that I was younger, but because I can't see myself doing anything else than protecting you. Why? Dulari. He looked down.
Not me gasping before I read the line. Okay, look at this close up of our cuties here.
Because I'm in love with you. Oh?
Dulari's face is... Sorry, I'm only laughing because, like, this is just me right now. Honestly, me too, girl. If I were you, with all these thoughts of, like, I'm gonna be alone forever until I guess I found out that it's not a star of loneliness or solitude, it's a star of power, I'd also be shocked. Thank you.
You're right when you say I should get a life and see my family more often. I really should. It's just, I'm afraid that if I go away for too long, you'll forget about me.
Oh.
You are smart, cute, and worry about others. It's just a matter of time until one of those princes finally sees that and takes you away. And I want to enjoy all the time I have with you until that day comes. Ease. I took his hand, and he looked at me surprised. I'm not going anywhere. Princess, you shouldn't waste your time with me. I'm just a dumb soldier.
Don't say that about yourself, Ezekiel. Not me getting mad because these precious characters keep being self-deprecating.
I would embarrass you in front of everyone. The night shouldn't be with the princess. Life's not like those books you read to me. Books are just reality written by dreamers.
Not the cute blush still.
Ease. You may be a little distracted, clumsy, too gullible for your own good, but that's what I like about you. You're always true to your heart, always willing to help. And you look so cute when you're embarrassed.
Not her, and both of them being embarrassed. I love this for them.
Well, does that mean you, Our faces started to inch closer before I could notice. My eyes were fixated on his, a timid sparkle of joy dancing on his gaze.
Oh my god, not another CG close up. Oh my gosh. Look at these sparkles, they're so cute. These two are so precious, it hurts me. Okay, I'm gonna stop crying for a second. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Okay. I could feel his warm breathing on my cheeks, our nose touching in a delicate way. My stomach was fluttering with hundreds of butterflies, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Rather, it was exciting. Ezekiel held my face gently, incapable of containing his smile. There was such joy in every movement of his, a washing relief, a happy embarrassment. That sweet feeling took over my senses as I forgot more and more about the world around me. In the end, I only knew one thing. Our lonely souls that wandered for so long, craving company, for a place to belong. Finally found their place under the stars. No, you get it? Under the stars, guys. Wow, that's brilliant writing. Ugh, I love it. Also, this little doodle. Ugh, I love the ending. That was super sweet. And I really enjoyed how the turn of events and the outcome. It's very sweet. I do have questions about the Jester. I do know there's like a Jester route / secret ending or something. Thank you for making this game and all the people involved. It's very lovely. I really like Ezekiel. And most importantly, I like Dulari. Oh.
Well then, if it's not the happy fairy tale ending you wish for, princess. I'm happy for you, of course. But you haven't forgotten about me, have you? You should never forget. Every time you see a mirror, you shall remember. I'm hiding in the darkness.
Very ominous. Okay, I was just talking about you, Jester. You heard me. Okay, sweet. That was so adorable. Okay, Jester's doing something. Going to have to figure that out, to be honest. Dulari and Ezekiel are super cute. I wonder how that would work out. I would love to see like an epilogue. Like, I just want to know what happens. Like, how do the parents feel? What happens with the parents? Like, do they just keep living their life or not? Don't know. You know what? But it doesn't matter, because you know what matters is how Dulari's feeling, and that she realizes that she's not just like, she's not as powerless as she thinks, and she's not like destined to like be alone forever. And like, obviously there's many people who love her friends, her family. Great, we love that. Again, nothing wrong with wanting something romantic either, so I'm glad that that's gonna happen for her, with Ezekiel in particular, what we just saw. So that was very cute and I loved it. Let me know if you loved Ezekiel's like route basically here. I will be playing the other love interest route. I totally forgot who, like, what his name is. All I know is that he's one on the left side over here of Dulari. And wait, yes or no, is that Ezekiel question mark? Actually, I don't know. That's Ezekiel on the right, right? Right? I'm probably tripping. Okay, never mind. Don't listen to me. I don't remember. The profiles are kind of making me question myself. Anyways, we're gonna do the other love interest route at some point soon, so let me know how you feel about that. And anyways, I'm really glad that this game was recommended to me. It's very sweet. I think it's very wholesome and heartwarming also, so very happy to be playing it now. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Please like the video if you haven't liked it already, and if you'd like to see more of this game, my playthroughs of this game rather, and any other playthroughs that I do on my channel, then please feel free to subscribe to my channel. And I will be back soon with even more content, so I will see you all next time. Bye!